Welcome back, part two. So here it is, and I put some loops right here, and they're easily removed. And the reason why is because I have to take this starter um, portion off. So I took it off the loom with the cardboard in them because I don't want to start cutting now. I want to be able to sew it first. I mean, cut them and then sew them. So I'm going to show you how I can take this portable table loom apart, and I'll show you how easy and simple it is to take it apart so you can store it, or if you're going to a guild or you're taking it with you traveling. It's this simple. So the first thing I need to do is remove the lamp that I use. It's a clip-on lamp. These are really nice to have. And I'm going to set that away for right now. The next thing you have to do is there's some screws here. Unlock those or unscrew them. The next thing you have to do is take them off of the metal. These little cob pins. Hold them in the hand. We don't want to lose these. So I'm removing them from the tassel. There. And I've got all four of them in my hand. And I'm going to set them on the side. Lock your cogs into place. We've already unloosened the back. Pick up the back. And this is how easy it is to fold away. See, I've got everything there. There we go. Tighten that up on the sides. Get your cords. And what I do is I wrap them around the bottom of the shafts or the harnesses. I get the plastic pins or the plastic little cob pins that they give you. I hope you can see that. And what I do, let's see, where is it at? Go around, and then I just hold them in each. See, did I drop one? Actually do this, you're going to set them in the lift hold where the original lift plan was at. And all I do is put them like that. Those are the original holds we used to lift. Just put these in there. Place it in there. Where the lift frame is at, and set your vessel in there. Make sure you lock this up in place on the side. Now, this is how simple. All you have to do is pick it up and voila. Let's see if I can see that from here. And you can see it's folded so nice and neat. And now I can take it and place it in the closet. Move that over here for right now. Now we need to take this apart and fold this up. And it's as simple as loosening up the cogs that are here. Unlock those. Tighten them up to lock it in place. Okay. Pick it up. That easily stores again in the closet. I have a latch back there on my door. And then I slide this over there. And that's put away that fast. Now I have one more room for my next step, and that is to take out the sewing machine. So I'm going to put my bench away. You slide the bench underneath your threadle on top of your lamp, your table loom, and it's all set away nice and neat. You're not going to fall over and hurt yourself. Now I can take out my sewing machine. And everybody's sewing machine is different. So you take out the one that you know you're used to working. Okay. This is my comb holder with thread. Plenty of needles. You need needles, you need sewing needles, and of course you're going to need some thread, bobbins. Make sure you have plenty of bobbins filled up. Of course you need the sewing needles in case it breaks or something. That takes a lot out of me. I have to take a breather. I think I'll put the air conditioner on. Okay, so the next thing, this is the sewing table, and there's a latch that lowers it down. Because I have a sewing machine, this one has to be raised up a little bit. Okay. There's two heights. There we go. Now I've got that there. I've got to plug it up. Plug that up. cord hanging all over the place. It may fall down. And then I have my unlockable first. I have an extra extension cord here. Plug up. Let me see which way would be the best way. So you can see, I think I'll bring it this way. I was right, I should have it this way. There. I'll get my lamp. Yeah, I think we're all situated here. So you can see what I'm doing. Let's see. Okay. Get my chair. Okay. Let me change the lighting. If you notice the There we go, that looks a little better. Now, because I have an opening here, and what I'm going to work on is going to fall through, I use a piece of plexiglass, and then lay it right on top of here. And then you get some masking tape. This is painter's tape, so it comes off really easy. And that will hold it down in place while I'm sewing. I have to do that on both ends. I have plenty of bobbin thread, so I'm not going to worry about the bobbin thread. You're going to need a pair of scissors. Of course, I have the other scissors that are in my hand, that I have around my neck. But you're going to need a larger pair so you can cut the weave. And then I have my comb thread. You might need some sewing pins. Find the correct thread that matches your project. And now I'm going to sit at the sewing machine, bring my project over. Right there. Remove some of the stuff that I have in there. I'm going to thread my sewing machine the way my sewing machine gets threaded. Now everybody else's is different. Turn it on. Oh, I know why I didn't turn on the division before. Makes a big difference. set up my color thread. Thread my sewing machine. I'm supposed to thread this one. Where's this one? Most likely different than this one. I have an open-toed presser foot. My stitch width is at 3.5. My stitch length is at 2.4. My tension is at 4. But then again, yours may be different than mine. Set my comb down. Pins over. The first thing you want to do is to remove, how many minutes do I show? I'm at 60 minutes. What I need to do is to remove the starting line. We've all got that. Where is it? There. There. I'm not going to bore you by taking all the bottom of the thread down, so I'm going to stop with this, and we'll go to part 3. Okay, now we are at step, I think it's, I'm not too sure, step 4, is it? Okay, so I've got my machine, I've got my thread on my sewing machine, I've got sewing pins on the side, I've got my work that I'm going to place right here, the roll of my washcloth. I put a temporary little loop to hold that. Now I'm going to do a simple zigzag stitch to hold these in place before I cut the fringes off. You don't want to cut these fringes off until you are secured this down. So let me move my chair up a little more. So find a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine. You notice I have the roll here with the cardboard. I have not cut them yet. And this is the wide open tooth, what they call open toe presser foot. Okay, so I'm going to double check everything here, making sure I don't have anything coming apart. And I'm going to place it right at the edge of my weft that I created in my warp that I weave. Okay, so now let me look at a zigzag pattern, and let's see what number 3 looks like. And I'll start off slowly. This particular zigzag is gathering the bottom. Step as you go along, make sure everything's lined up. Stop, cut your will come apart. Double check. I'm going to do another stitch. I want to be absolutely sure that it's not going to come apart. I'm letting it move while I'm carefully moving it up. Trim up those ends. Now I feel confident enough to cut these fringes off. Ooh, here we go. Don't be afraid. I'm going to take that and place that on the side. As you can see, I cut them. I used to be so afraid to cut them. And then trim off any excess long ones you might have. You want it to be as neat and as straight as possible. Being careful not to cut your stitch. You need a good strong pair of sharp pair of scissors, by the way. I sharpen my scissors with a little sharpener that I purchased. And then those are going to go down there. Okay, now you can see I sewed it along. I want to keep everything nice and straight. I don't want to wobble it. I don't want to pull it. I don't want to do anything like that. The first thing I'm going to do is create a small little fold about, that looks like about less than 1/4 of an inch, and then I'm going to fold it again. Here's where you're going to need your pins. I'm going to go to the other corner, fold it 1/4 of an inch, and do the same thing. Fold that over, get your pin that in place. Oh, I was attempt to do that again in the middle. It's all even. Pin it in place. Now you can go to the inside. Pin it in place. Do the same thing on the other side. Keeping it flat. You might want to iron it, you might want to pre-wash this, it's totally up to you. But I want to just do it this way. Now I'm going to do a simple stitch. Oh, by the way, you want to start with that same zigzag on the edge. So you notice I pull this back this way. I'm going to do a tiny little zigzag stitch there. Stop, cut, turn it around. Do the same thing on the other corner. Stop, cut. You can remove your sewing pin. Now I'm going to go to a regular stitch. Actually, this one is called a reinforcement stitch. They use it for jeans. On mine, it's a number 8. I wouldn't know what number it's on yours. would help if I put that on number 8. So there we go. This is a triple stitch. Start removing your pins. Remove your pins. Let the sewing machine do the work for you. That's a little bit better. Cut it. Look at that. Flat and straight. Flat and straight. That is beautiful. That looks absolutely beautiful. Let's see if I can zoom this up for you. That's not the zoom. That's the color contrast. There you go. Zoom it up. My little box popped up, giving me a massage thing, somebody sent me a message. Look at that. Straight. Remember, I reinforced it with a zigzag. It's a little tiny zigzag stitch. It's a super duper tiny little zigzag stitch. I will need to cut these little threads, but that zigzag stitch going upwards keeps that fold flat. And I did that at the other end. And then I did the reinforcement stitch on the bottom. So remember, when I first cut it, I did that same little tiny zigzag stitch twice. Then I cut the fringe. I folded it 1/4 of an inch. I folded another 1/4 of an inch, and I've done that. Look how beautiful that turned out. I love the pattern. So when I go to the next one, of course I'm going to trim out these little teeny threads that are all over the place. And use my super duper sharp little scissors. And what's beautiful about it is the edges are not overlapping. They're nice and squared off. So now if you want to know, you open up the next row. I take the one I just did and I'm going to roll it up again. Just roll it like that, so it stays nice and even. And what you want to do is you want to cut right in the middle of one back of the, let's see, I think I can remove the cardboard, I'm not too sure. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't, depending on how tight I did this. This one I only use one cardboard, but the other ones I use two. Okay, So now I remove my cardboard. Before I cut this, I'm going to use that same little tiny zigzag. I'll show you one more time. Mine is a number 3 years. I don't know what little tiny zigzag stitch you use. And then I'm going to go right to the edge, to the very edge. It picks up and gathers it in. It gathers about 3 of those stitches as it keeps going all the way down. Move my sewing machine a little more so you can see that. It is gathering those stitches in, pulling them in, and interlocking them. It's a very tiny 1/8 of a zigzag stitch. Okay, stop, cut. I'm going to go to the other side and do the same thing. Let that needle drop. Let the sewing machine pull your work, and you're just going to lightly glide it through. I think this is called a zigzag reinforcement stitch. It's really good for edging. Okay. Cut that. I can now take this seam that I created here. Let's see, where is it at? Zoom out. Okay. Now you see that I tiny stitched all the way on both sides. So now I'm going to cut this one in the middle carefully, of course. Very carefully. Now I can take this roll and place it on my side. I'm going to do that little tiny zigzag stitch again, because it is going to be in the washing machine. This reassures me that these are not going to come apart. And trim that. Turn that around. You can open up the other towel. And now I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to trim that edge. Being careful not to cut any of those zigzag stitches. getting as close as I can to the edge without cutting the seam. Vacuum anyway. Again, make sure you're doing the fold the same way as you did the other one. So I'm checking this fold. Now I'm going to take that zigzag stitch off, and I'm going to do the same thing as before. Fold that over 1/4 of an inch, or 1/4 of an inch, I'm sorry. Fold that in. Get some pins. Do the other corner first. Pin. Then I go in the middle. This reassures me everything is lining up. Now I can go to the side. And then I pin again. Edge. Now I can take the other one off and that edge. There. Everything's pinned into place. I'm going to do that little zigzag stitch on the edge only. That little tiny edge. Same thing on the other edge. That will keep that edge nice and straight. Trim that off. Go to my reinforcement stitch and start stitching. Away, so I dropped them on the floor. There we go. Take your scissors, trim off those little threads. It's totally up to you if you want to do another stitch on the bottom. I would. I think that I will do that. I will sew the bottom again about 1/4 of an inch right at the edge, and I'll show you that. polyester. We're at 43 minutes. Let's do the other side. Trim it all off. Cut your threads. Any little tiny little thread you see. Look at that beautiful reinforcement. Now that's going to be one lovely washcloth. It feels so good. And then after I wash it, I'm going to wash it in the wash machine in a like the regular lightweight, like for polyester, and let it just in cold water, because this is clean thread. But I want you to see how beautiful the Star of David turned out, and what beautiful little washcloth I made here on my loom, and it feels so beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So, oops, that was probably the laptop, which wouldn't have been good. Alright, let me turn off this light, and let me come right back. Let me open up the window. Let some light in here. And thank you for joining me in my wonderful journey in sewing. I don't know if you can see that, but look how lovely that looks. It's so bright in here with the window, with the shade open. It looks super bright. I don't know if that helps much. Take a look here. I think that worked a little. So look at that. So thank you for joining me in my journey to doing not only sewing, but also the weaving part of it too. I hope this teaches you how to you can cut your weaving that you've created, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to cut it, because it will all turn out good. Remember, mistakes is just a learning process. This is